Okay, so our analysis today is over the needs of gifted students. And this is kind of a touchy subject for me because I'll never forget I was in the fourth grade, and I wanted to be in the gifted program. My parents wanted me to be in the gifted program, and I went through and I took the test or whatever they had completed, had me doing, or whatever the case may be. And one of the very last part of the test was to draw a rainbow. And so I drew a rainbow. I drew my cloud and my basic rainbow. And the reason I did not get into the gifted program was because my rainbow did not show or did not signify, or whatever the case may be, that I was gifted enough because I didn't think outside the box enough for my rainbow. And I literally held on to that for years. Like, I was very upset with it. And I used to always say that to be in the gifted program, you have to be able to draw a rainbow. And so I really didn't have much respect for the gifted program, which probably that internal feeling is probably why I much rather teach students who are at risk than students who are gifted personally. I do think that probably has something to do with my personal experience though. But back to the topic at hand. In the current situation in my classroom, um, like I said, for the most part, I do teach at risk students. So I teach a lot of support classes on the opposite end, where I have students who, excuse me, excuse me, I have students who really are struggling to catch up, not necessarily because they are so far ahead. So I don't necessarily see the situation in my classroom per se. However, I do have a couple students in my regular classes who, if I had to classify, I would kind of say they probably fit more on the gifted side, or they're definitely more advanced than those of my in the majority of my regular class. Sorry, I'm looking at the article so I can talk about it. But I would say the one article that really taught me about something I can do differently in that class was the do's and don'ts of instruction and what it means to be a gifted teaching gifted learners well. This is actually the article that I found. And the reason why I really appreciate it is because it really gave a lot of detailed explanation on ways we could better teach our students. And one of the things that I think was the most powerful for me was that I personally used my students, especially ones that are gifted or got farther ahead, as assistant teachers. I would let them go and help other students and, you know, try to be mini teachers. But what I learned from this article is that is not okay. I mean, it's okay every once in a while, but this gives the students the idea of being so much farther ahead, it can sometimes get them lack of respect from their classmates, as well as it teaches them that they should always finish first and always be ahead, meaning that if there's a topic that's more difficult or something they're going to struggle at, they automatically think that they're not competent enough to do it because they're not finishing first or they're not able to help other people. So that was a real eye opener for me. Another myth or another article that I really enjoy pertaining to the same topic was the 5 myths about gifted students. Um, and that goes back to what I was saying, that gift the myth that it said is gifted students are so smart that they can do fine on their own in school and don't need help. And they always get great grades. And a lot of times it does seem that way, that, I teach the subject one time and my more advanced students automatically just get it. They don't need anything else. They figure everything out on their own. But excuse me. But from this article, I kind of learned that that's not the case at all. And of course, I knew that to an extent. But as far as, kind of going in to more of detail as to why that is such an issue, and making sure that the students do get that support and they know that as a teacher, you're there for them and you're there to motivate them is very important. As far as the second part, describe the ideal situation for you. I think when I was in elementary school, we had a gifted teacher who would take students out and they would do the gifted program, and I really think that that's great for gifted students. Excuse me, just like it's great for students who are at risk or need the support classes. They have their own class. A lot of times they come for just a support class. I don't think it's any different than it should be for gifted students. In my opinion, that would be the ideal situation. That when these kids are going to support classes, these kids that are advanced can, along with having their regular class, can also go to advanced math, they're advanced language arts versus it just being that class. That gives them both the social skills of being in a regular class as well as the push of being in an advanced class. And so I think by only giving those who need the extra help, that extra push, it doesn't have equal opportunity, because those students who are more advanced, if we had a separate class for them, another period just for those students, then they have more opportunity to do more and get farther ahead, and things of that sort. And I think that, especially if you have a large gap, like a class like mine, where I have many students who are at risk and a couple students who are gifted, it's very hard to really find the mold in the middle. Excuse me, finding that mold in the middle and making sure that these students are all getting the what they need. And so, just like my support kids, I know if they don't get it the first time, I'm gonna have separate time to be able to work with them. It'd be great to be able to have the separate time to push the envelope and really challenge my students who are gifted. So I definitely think that would be my my ideal situation. Now, as far as some of the articles that discuss this, another article I really liked was Gifted Kids Curriculum, What Do Students Say? And in this article, it talked about um, the kind of the integrated cornerstones and how it helps with gifted students and how they feel. And the four are talent development, conceptual learning, mental edge thinking skills, and effective domain. And so I'm going to touch on the talent development because I think that's very important. That goes back to what I was saying about them having a separate class just for them, pushing them to work harder, think outside of the box, and not being complacent with what they already know. So I think that's very important as far as to how we can make sure that gifted students are getting the best knowledge and education they possibly can get, as well as the mental edge in their thinking skills. And they had a separate class that just focused on just gifted students without removing them from their regular class, that also allows them to work on that mental edge and that thinking skill. So again, it's just very much so, I think that would be my ideal situation, a class where I can really focus on pushing the envelope with my gifted students.